All here with us. Giuseppe, what went break down the I want to try and keep it to the game as best we can, but you had a lot of the ball today. You struggled to create the chances. You dropped big points. Break it down for me, mate.
Yeah, man. The low block, players not having balls to try stuff. I feel like it's just repeat on repeat our attacks today. Like very left to right, trying to put the ball in. These crosses ain't working. Why consistently do it? I don't know, man. There just seems to be a lack of creative spark sometimes in our team. Like someone to just I feel like if they lock down Saka, we ain't got none in our front line. If they lock down Saka, we ain't got a guy that tries to do something magical in our front line. So yeah, I thought controlling the game wise was good. It weren't hard at all for us, but that don't get you 3 points. You know, the goal they scored, shocking. When you're dominating like that, shocking. Come down the side, obviously, where we got the injuries, but that ain't even an excuse because these guys should be able to deal with that. Yeah, I don't know. I just look at that and I think Declan Rice was one of the only guys I can think on the pitch that was trying to make these runs and trying to do something. He's the only guy. Like Trossard, again, starting a game. And I know everyone wants to back Trossard all the time, but he starts a game with shit. I'll be real, it's crap. Yeah, second half, he started looking a bit better. He comes off. Martinelli comes on, looks okay. He's got to be on side. Come on, man. This is the difference between him and someone like Mo Salah. Like, I'm not trying to compare them. He will never be Mo Salah, but that's the difference between having these sort of players in a game. He wouldn't be offside. You know, these are the problems we have right now. And listen, Fulham, give credit to Fulham. I thought they always seem to play good against us now. They defended well. They obviously set up that game to be just low block, and that's what we have to deal with now. It is what it is. That a lot of teams are going to set up like that against us. It's how we're going to have to approach games. So we're going to have to find ways around it. I thought Odegaard. I agree with you. He shouldn't have come on, shouldn't have come off. But like I think even in that first half, he weren't involved in the game that much, and it was just a bit hard. We've helped Liverpool out because that Bassi went and got a yellow card, so he's missing their game. But yeah, listen, what can I say? I was downstairs. Obviously, I celebrated that goal like mad just to be disappointed. So yeah, listen, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about the title race. I'm not going to talk about if we're in it or we're not in it. We just got to go game by game, and we got to just keep winning. But it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating, and it's. I think there is a lack of quality in our attack. I'll be real. There is a lack of quality as a whole in our attack.
I hear that, Brandon. Is it a lack of a quality in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net? Is it a creative issue or a combination of the two? What do you put? I assume you agree with what Giuseppe said. What do you put that down to specifically?
It's not just a combination of them two, Tel. Mentality is also a big thing. And I see a distinct lack of bollocks by them players today, to be honest with you. We turned up in that first half, and although we dominated every aspect of the game in terms of the stats and possession, what did we actually really create? You know, every time we was asked to defend today, it was panic stations. I didn't see the calm, relaxed Arsenal that we've seen in recent weeks at the back. It was panic stations. There, you could put that down to the fact that there were so many changes across the back line. You got Thomas Partey playing right back. You got Kivior playing there. At centre back, and then you've got Timber playing at left back when he's actually better at right back. And these changes have all been forced because of injuries. But you know, the panic stations today was just it was so poor, Tel. You know, it was so poor. And that first half, in my opinion, is what cost us the game. That was a waste of 45 minutes by us, because again, we dominated the ball. That's great, but we created nothing. There was no impetus there from any single player. We did not move the ball quick enough. We took too many touches on the ball. You know, there was no creativity there. Odegaard was really poor today. You know, and I ain't going to dig him out because this is Martin Odegaard. You know, he has some real top quality games, and he's going to have poor games throughout the season. You know, every player does. But it's about having a solution when he's not there. And we've already seen, you know, in the first half of the season when he was out injured, that Arsenal don't have the solution. you know. So I look at today, and it's on the players more than what it is the manager. Although the manager, you know, does obviously have to take some responsibility. But for me, it's about them players today. You know, this is the team that we dropped points in both games last season. I expect them players to go to Craven Cottage today and show a pair of bollocks and say, look, we ain't doing that this season. We're going there, we're taking the 3 points, and we're going to apply the pressure to Liverpool, whose game was cancelled this weekend. Instead, what we did was we watched Man City drop points again yesterday, and we've gone and done the same. And Liverpool haven't even played this weekend, and we've basically just gone, it's all right. Liverpool can chill now. They ain't got no pressure. They ain't got to now go to Everton Stadium and necessarily pick up 3 points, because Arsenal and City have just dropped the bag again. You know, and I look at this. I think in the cold light of day, you'd say, you know, bringing Martin Odegaard off was probably the wrong decision when Arsenal were looking for a goal. But again, he was so poor today. What's really bothering me more than anything else, though, in terms of that attack, though, Tel, is we have almost become set piece FC. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, because obviously we celebrate the fact that we're scoring goals from set pieces, and we should do. But that should not be our only, you know, armour, or our only fucking way of scoring goals, which it seems like it is in the last couple of games. You know, against Manchester United, we scored the set piece and we scored the opening goal, and after that we started to look a lot better in terms of like flowing and bringing attacking play from open play. But up until that point, we struggled really to break you down until we scored the opening goal. Again today, until we scored from the set piece, we didn't look like scoring again. So it's almost like we've become very reliant on this whole set piece thing. It should be something that we have as a weapon in our armory, but it should not be the only weapon that we have to score goals. It's pathetic. It really is. Also, let's take it back to the defending, right? We wasn't asked to defend very often today, but when we was, it was panic stations. Now, in that first half, we go and concede a sloppy goal. It's all on Kivior, yeah? Kivior, once again, his positioning, terrible. The way that he got bodied by Jimenez as well, absolutely awful. Yes, Saliba probably should have got tighter, but he shouldn't be having to make that recovery run in the first place, because Kivior's positioning should be a lot better. But it's not, right? And we know that we're in trouble when we're having to rely on players because of injury, when we're having to rely on players that we were actively looking to get rid of in the summer. Kivior was one of them, right? This guy also, we brought him in a couple of January windows ago when Arsenal were 8 points clear with 8 games to go. Saliba picked up an injury. Did Mikel Arteta play Kivior? No, he played Rob fucking Holding ahead of him. Why? Because he's shit. He's a donkey. And when we're relying on donkeys like this, we know we're in trouble. Trossard was poor. I agree with Giuseppe. I think the only player who can really come off that pitch today and say, look, I did my job, the rest of you didn't, is Declan Rice. Aside from that, they're all crap. They're all crap.
I hear you on that.
Just real quick.
Go on, mate.
Title race situation, right? I said it after Chelsea, or I think it was before Chelsea. I said, if we drop points against Chelsea, we're out of the title race. I still maintain that. I know I've said before that if Arsenal continue these performances, maybe we could get back into it. But we all know that after that Chelsea game, the margin for error for us to win this league was very, very small. Now, the margin for error has gone. It's disappeared, right? Because we know Liverpool, let's be real, Liverpool are playing a certain way, a certain relaxed way as well. They look like a side that are very settled under Arne Slot. I don't expect that they will drop many points. I know they will drop points, but I don't expect they'll drop many points. We have dropped the bag. We have fumbled it once again. And the only people that we have to blame is ourselves.
Listen, I get where you're coming. Just the interest of time and getting around everybody and getting to the super chats. I hear where you're coming from, and I get the frustration. Nathan, what went wrong today from your perspective?
For me, I think the manager deserves a lot of criticism. Personally, I kind of disagree in regards to looking at just the players. I think I said this last time. I think Staffy asked a question when Martin Odegaard came back, and everybody was so high and excited to be like, "Oh, Odegaard came back and fixed everything." And one of the answers I gave to his question, Staffy asked, what's changed with Arsenal? And I said, the biggest thing for me is having players put in the right positions, players playing on their favourite side, having left footers on the left side. If you look at the way we play today, everybody wants to come inside. You got on the right hand side, you've got Saka and Odegaard continue cutting inside. On the left hand side, you've got Trossard, you've got Timber, and you've got Rice. There's nobody stretching that pitch, and we're playing into the zones that the opposition teams want us to play into. And again, of course, I understand we've been forced into this by injuries, right? So we haven't got the likes of a Calafiori, a Zinchenko down that left hand side. But at the same time, it's up to the manager to find solutions, perhaps even maybe move over Martin Odegaard so you've got a naturally left-footed player to add some more balance to that team, because everybody's just playing into the zones that Fulham want us to play into. And yes, we dictated the game. Yes, we had a lot of possession, but it was meaningless at the end of the day because there was no substance to it. We weren't penetrative, right? We weren't creating openings. And it was only once we got the equalizer and momentum kind of swung where we started to kind of, have our way or kind of move the ball a little bit further in whilst they were tiring. Martinelli coming on from the counter. But if you look at the balance of the game, we're not playing. We're always changing too much. I'm a big fan of Yuri and Timber, but I don't like the fact that you've got 3 right footers all on the left hand side. It completely limits and stifles Arsenal. And you could see that today. We barely used Trossard while he was on the pitch. I didn't think Trossard had a great game. But then he had, in that first half, he had 2 moments, I remember specifically. And I'm not Trossard's biggest fan. He had a moment where he found Declan Rice with a nice little pass, right, where Declan Rice should have done a little better. And he put in a lovely ball for Saka. But how many times did we threaten down the outside? How many times is there overlaps? There's none of that. And it's that, for me, falls onto the manager. When his key players are out, he does too much. And he prioritizes seniority and whatnot. We could have played, I know Miles Lewis-Skelly's a youngster, but he's a left-footed player that we've used at left back. Why not keep him to keep the balance of the team? And then have Yuri Timber playing his rightful position and Thomas Partey playing his rightful position. Instead, we've moved 3 players to accommodate 1 injury, so to speak. So for me, that's a massive frustration. And then also when I look at even, I think the boys touched it on Kivior. Kivior has shown continuously he's not been good enough. And this is where, everybody wants to get onto the manager, but this is where we have to look further than the manager. We have to look at the board and the owners. I've sat here many times and talked about the summer transfer window and was it enough? And did we address the frailties that we had in our team? And the reality has shown that the manager couldn't trust or hasn't trusted in Kivior. And the fact that when injuries kick in, we have to lean on him. And we've seen it against Liverpool. He made a similar error. We saw it today. And he's kind of, he's like a fish out of water in these situations. And when you need to go to a tough away ground, right, London derby, you need someone who's ready to kind of get stuck in. And he ain't got that heart. He ain't got that fight. He ain't got that desire. He ain't got that grit about him. To be frank, he's a pussy hole. Like on that pitch, that's what he is. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? So for me, watching the game, I thought the first 10 minutes, I thought we did well to kind of like try to take this thing out of it. And then again, credit to Fulham. They do what you should do. You know what I mean? You target the weakest link. And obviously him being brain dead, obviously his position and being off, they exploit that and they go 1 up, and that changes the whole dynamic of the game. And obviously now they're in a position where they can kind of get stuck in and they've got something to fight for. And something
to hold on to. Really... Yeah, no, I hear. I think what you said about the right-hand side is very true in the sense of you keep Odegaard on, but bring on Waneri and then have either one of them supporting whoever the inside forward is. An example, spread the play. It might create more space in the middle as an example. It became very predictable. Man United did the same thing yesterday. We put Rashford and Ahmad over there on the right-hand side, so you knew that's where we were going to play, and we had nothing on the left. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, stick Rashford on the left and have Ahmad on the other side, stretch it, create more space in the middle. And I think you make a great point there.